Hi everybody. I am going to see if I can find myself here on the live. Oops, wrong one. And I'm going to get right to my project today. Hi Jan, hi Diana. So we're going to make a fun, quick Halloween card today. So I was going to film this video quickly for tomorrow as a replacement, but I figured I'll go live. That'll make it more fun. So, hi Christine. Hope you guys are doing well. Hi Diana. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make, I just got the stitched triangles dies in. So I thought I could make a card and we'll see what happens with it. So I'm going to flip you guys around. I don't have too much time. Long time no see. How are you doing, Denise? Good to see you. I'm sorry I didn't give you any notice. I'm going down to the main platform. So I did a little bit of cutting ahead of time because I wasn't sure how I was going to work this picture. But I wanted you to know that I did a few things ahead of time and a few things I'm kind of going along. So I got the stitched triangles dies and I thought these would be really, really cool using the Spooky from the Festive Corners stamp set. So I did a couple of them ahead of time because I wasn't sure if they were going to fit or not, and they do. And then a couple of them we'll do after the fact. So I have two of the smaller dies. So you can see there are right angle triangles, there are regular triangles, and there are isosceles triangles. So I had the second smallest isosceles, and a couple of them I cut because I wasn't sure if the words would fit. And then I have the smallest right angle triangle. Okay, so I cut a couple of them out. The other thing I have is the Ghoulish Goodies, and I went ahead and stamped this little image here, and I'm actually going to die cut this with the the second smallest stitched circle. So I have that. I stamped this because I wanted this to dry because I'm going to do something with the blends. I also stamped the moon on a piece of masking paper because I wanted it to dry. So I have that as well. And then I kind of got these pieces out, but I don't know how I feel about the colors. So again, I have Spooky, that's from Festive Corners. I have the Ghoulish Goodies is the Trick or Treat. No, I'm sorry, I was going to do Trick or Treat, but I went with this little guy here because I figured since I was going to say Spooky, I didn't need to say Trick or Treat too. This one also has lots of other fun. So you have your cobweb and then you have your spider. And then the other thing I did a while ago, I don't know if you guys remember when I did the feather. So I thought we could do the feather maybe on the background of this card. So I'm going to show you my layout and you guys let me know what you think. What I was going to do is I have a base of Mango Melody, 4 1/4 by 11, scored at 5.5. Then I have a 4 by 5 1/4 piece of basic black. Then I have, and I did rip this piece, but I figured I was going to show you how if you ripped something, you could cover it up. So this is the Magic in This Night DSP. You could also use this side if you wanted to. Maybe this side would be better. We're going to have to see, because I was going to do this side, but I think with these, it might be a little too much. So maybe we'll use the black stripes. So I have this little part here that got ripped because I dropped something. And I was like, well, I'm not going to throw this whole sheet away just because of this thing. So I figure we'll cover that up. So we might end up going with this side. I think it might look a little bit better. And then I did do a couple of the triangles die cut, but we still have to do a few as well. And then we also have the Pets. This is part of the Pets ribbon bundle. It's a black and white baker's twine. So I figured we could do our little banner with this. And then I got a couple other things out. So this is the part I'm going to show you, and this is my idea. So what I thought is we're going to color the moon with the dark Daffodil Delight and the light Mango Melody. And then I'm going to cover it up. I'm going to mask it. And I don't know if I'm going to do it before or after. And then I have some blues and a purple. And I was going to do a sky. So it would look like a spooky sky. So we'll see what it looks like. Hopefully it'll look good. I'm going to move this over here. I'm going to go ahead and show you one other thing in case you've never done this before. So to get these letters, you can see this stamp is obviously a vertical running stamp. So what we're going to do is we're going to mask this off and we're going to ink it up. And then we will go back and stamp it. So I'm going to show you. So I already have spooks. So I was trying to do them so they would be every other. So we have like a short one and then a long one. So we need another O and we need a K. So to make this work, we're going to need an O on the long one and a K on the short one. I end up having to cut an extra one because I stamped the P on the wrong pattern. So I just went in with my mango cardstock. And you can see I just cut a bunch of different triangles out, which this would kind of be really neat if you wanted to do this maybe as a background pattern for something. So I might actually hang on to this and use this as a mask. I think it'd be a cool idea. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to do, we need to do O and we need to do K. So we're going to move these over and then we'll do the rest of our card in a moment. I did already put the bigger dimensionals on the bigger ones. And then I put the tiny dimensionals on the small ones. So what we're going to do is, I'm going to use my VersaFine because I feel like it gives a really good detail to these. Now you need to remember though is that VersaFine does stay wet longer, so we need to make sure we give it enough time to dry. So I have a piece of purple tape. So what I'm going to do is we're going to just do an O first. So I'm going to take and block off the P, and I'm just going to block off the O. So you're going to need probably a couple pieces of this once you get to these letters here in the middle because you have to block the top and the bottom. And once you block them, you can't use it again, okay? So we're going for, let me put this here just in case. We're going for an O on the shorter one and then a K on the longer one. So I'm going to just ink up the O. And I'm trying to avoid everything else. Now, you want to make sure you take this off because if not, you'll get a big black blob on your stamp, or your card, I should say. And then I'm going to just kind of line this up, which is really nice because it's photopolymer. And so there's our O. And I got a little bit on my pinky. So I'm going to clean this off. Now all we have to left to do is the K. So the Rainbow Stamper had a most excellent first day of school. He was so happy. It made me so happy that he was so happy. I had an excellent first and second day. We've had both first and second day at this point. So we've had great days. It makes me so happy to feel useful and like I'm contributing something to the school, which they are really working hard. The kids are so happy. It just makes my heart so happy. He said he had the best day ever yesterday, which, goodness, I love it. Was the O on the long one? Yes, so they're all here. All the letters, S-P-O-O-K-Y. It's all on a long one. So you have, let me show you. It'll be a little bit easier. These are, you have Merry, Spooky, and then XO. So any of these, instead of them running horizontally, you could just break them up into pieces. So that's what I thought would be fun. When I saw this, I thought the triangles, it would be cute to make a little saying. So now I've blocked off the O and the Y, and now I'm going to just ink up the K. And I'm going to peel off my tape. And then I'm going to just line my K up on my banner. And all these banners are cut out of Mango Melody. So there's my K. So one other thing I thought would be kind of cool. So I'm going to take my Memento. Let me wipe this off. So I don't really know how much it's necessarily going to show through, but we're going to do it anyway because you know me, I like to do a little bit of extra. So I'm going to take the feather while we have the black out. And I'm going to take, I'll move these. These are all dry. I'm going to take the base card. So this is going to be our front of our card. And I'm going to take the feather. And I'm just going to put, now granted it is going to be a little bit covered because the black will cover up, but I want just a little bit to show. So I'm actually going to just do this kind of on the edge. You could do this as a really cool background if you wanted to. And it doesn't necessarily have to fit on the edge, but I'm kind of just fitting it in where I can. Just so there's a little bit of something peeking through from the background. You could trim your black layer, or you could completely omit it if you wanted to. So I'm going to show you what I mean. Okay, and again, one other thing I want to tell you. I did already stamp this, so it just is drying, and I stamped that extra little O. which is just the moon that I cut out. And, oh, I want to keep this out for one more reason because I forgot one more little thing. Let me wipe this off. I don't know if you guys, anybody get any good deals in the clearance rack today? I know a few of my customers did. I have a Stampin' sponge. And what I'm going to do is just put a little bit of black ink. I don't want to put too much. And I'm going to start with these letters that I know are already dry. I'm going to just sponge the edge just a little bit. Now this is going to give you kind of dirty fingers, so if you don't like that, you could skip this part. But I think sometimes if you have a really bright orange, so instead of maybe using pumpkin pie, we're going to sponge this. So kind of give it like a little darker feel to it. So tomorrow is fun. The kids in the class that I'm being teacher assistant for get to do a drive-by and meet their teacher before starting, because since they're pre, they start later than everybody else. So I'm going to go with the O first, since I did that one, so it should hopefully be dry. Plus the nice part is if you sponge it and say if you smudged a little bit of something, kind of helps to block it, right? So you can't see it. So this one needs a little mini dimensional. And then we have our K. Sponge the edge of that. And I don't really know how much it's going to show up. Probably not, but oh, it'll show up a little bit. I'm going to sponge the edge of this. I've made the executive decision that I'm going to use this black stripe side instead of the side that had the Cajun. I don't know about you guys, and I want you to tell me the honest truth, because we're always honest with each other, if nothing else, but this isn't my favorite Halloween paper. I like a lot of the cutesy stuff, and since I had that little tear there, I just put a smudge of black to cover up the rip part. So you could do that same thing over here if you were going to use this side. It'll kind of get rid of that hard spot, so you can't really even see it, so that way you can still use it. And I do know that since it is dark out, it is definitely a little darker here in my studio today, so I am sorry if you're having a little bit of a harder time seeing. Okay, so this will be our base layer, which is going to go on top of here. Which is going to go on top of here, so I know you're not going to have a whole lot. So if you wanted to, you could even omit this black layer and put this, maybe we'll do that, because then you can see the feathers. We'll see. Still haven't 100% decided yet. So let me show you. I'm going to move this all out of the way. We're going to color in this part so we can die cut it. And I want to do one more thing. So I have my K. And I need to add a little mini dimensional to my O. So I have a mini. How much I love those mini dimensionals. But they are nice when you have little tiny pieces. It's just the rest of the time they're not great. And then I'm going to put a full-size dimensional on the back of the K. This was just an extra. And I can move these over. Okay, so what we're going to do, I'm actually going to color this moon in after. So this is a piece of masking paper. So I'm going to very carefully, and I just hand cut this. So I'm going to just peel the backing off. And I did try to trim in a little bit. So I'm just kind of eyeballing to cover that up. Whoops. Oh my goodness gracious, guess what? I stamped on the wrong side. Ding dong, because this part's the sticky part. That's okay. Did it backwards. It still lines up because when you cut it, one side matches the other, but I stamped on the release paper like a goofball. All right, so I'm going to give that a little press down. Now what I'm going to do, so these two will be for the moon. And this one is what we're going to cut it with afterwards. So I'm going to start with my lightest color. So I picked dark balmy blue, light night of navy, light misty moonlight, and then light blackberry bliss. So I was trying to get like a graduated blue to purple sky. So we're going to see. So I'm going to go a little bit with the balmy blue first. And remember with these are alcohol-based markers, so they do take a little bit of time to evaporate. Now I'm going to go a little bit of night of navy. So we'll go over a little bit here. I don't know how big we can make this, so I'm going to give this a press again. I'm not going to press too hard because I don't want it to get underneath of that part. Okay. I'm going to go back now with the balmy over the night of navy and the balmy to try to blend those a little bit. And I'm going to do the same thing with the balmy to the misty. And I'm sorry if I moved the camera a little bit. My apologies. And then we'll go with the light blackberry bliss. I was going to do Highland Heather, And I'm going to have to see how much this is even going to show on this circle. Highland Heather was a little bit too light. And I was afraid if I went with Raspberry Ripple, it would be a little too red. So again, this is now the Misty Moonlight. So I'm going to give it a minute because it is going to take a moment to kind of evaporate and blend together. And you can, if you wanted to, you could always go back with your lightest color and kind of blend over. I don't know if this is recommended or not, but yeah, didn't pick up any color, so that's good. I'm going to go a little bit more with the Night of Navy. Night of Navy dark is super dark. It's kind of the same thing with like the basic black blend is really, really dark. It's almost so dark you can't really tell. Okay, so I kind of wanted that like night sky. So I'm going to give this a moment to dry. And what we're going to do in the meantime is I'm going to die cut this. So I'm going to just kind of pick a spot. I want a little purple, a little bit of light blue. Go like that. And let me grab another piece of purple tape. When you use your purple, when you use your purple tape for masking, you can't really reuse it. So if you get ink on this side of it, it's too much of a hassle. I would just get rid of it, honestly. All right, so I'm just going to tape this right here. So I have my yellows. Let me move this over. And I still have my little words. This we're going to need to lift off with. So I'm going to run this through the die cutting machine. So did anybody get themselves a Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine today? It did go live for customers. Also, there is another really great special if you're interested in joining my team. You do not have to sell anything, I promise you. You can just join to be a discount shopper. You will get a discount off everything you buy as long as you're an active demonstrator. But they have a really cool special. You actually get 2 bonus stamp sets, which are really, really cool stamp sets too, by the way. So, not sure if anybody took advantage of that, but it runs through through September 30th. Rainbow Stamper's birthday. So I'm going to pull this out and I'm going to pull this off. Okay. And look at that. Oh, we have a teeny bit that didn't cover. So you know what? No big deal. I'm actually going to go with the just a little bit darker. That's the Night of Navy. And I'm going to put this over here. That way I have a spot to blend it on. And then I'm going to go with the Balmy Blue. Figures, one little spot. It was the teeniest little spot where I cut it, but that was just me being goofy. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to lift, and you could do this with your, take your pick as well. Just want to lift off this little piece of masking paper. So I'm just going to throw this away. You could keep it if you wanted to, but it's such a little circle. And I did have a teeny little bit of bleed right here, but it's okay. We're just going to make that, as Pink Floyd would say, the dark side of the moon. So I'm going to go with Dark Daffodil Delight first. And I am going to use the bullet tip just to try to stay a little bit closer to the line. That way I don't make it too dark. I'm going to color in the whole moon. Okay, and then I'm going to do the same thing, but now I have Light Mango Melody. And that's actually a little bit too light. So, live and learn. I'm going to go to Dark Mango Melody. Just so it kind of gives you that little bit more orangey part of a look to the moon. And then I'm going to go in with my brush tip of my light. And then one more time, I'm going to go in with my brush tip of my mango. Just to bring out that dark part again. Okay, and then finally, because, you know, can't leave well enough alone, I have a shimmer pen. You could use a shimmer pen. You could use a Wink of Stella. But I'm going to add a little bit of shimmer to the moon just to give it a sparkly look. So I'm just going over this with a shimmer pen. So it's really, you can see that, it's really sparkly. Okay, so now we're going to put everything together, and I think, like I said, I am going to omit that black layer, and we're just going to put it on this. That way you can see a little teeny bit more of the feathers. So we're going to grab our spooky, and we're kind of just going to decide where we think we want it so we know ahead of time. And let's see. S, P. Oh, crackers. Guess what I forgot to do? O. Oh my gosh, don't tell me I did it again. Daggone it, I did. Jeez a whiz. Hold on, I stamped the wrong thing. I needed another O on the long one. That's okay. So I wanted a long O, and I did another short O. Oh, heavens. Okay, so I'm going to grab, and I have my sponge here, so this will be pretty easy. And you know what? I'm going to stick with this. That way it's not a lighter shade. So I'm going to just ink up my O. Pull these off. Close this up. Okay, good. Put these together. And I'm going to be as gentle as I can. I'm just going to sponge the edge of this. Okay, and that one needs a big dimensional. Oh, Lordy B, look at this. Like a ding dong. S-P-O-O, and this one's on a big one. You know, sometimes you just can't teach a new girl old tricks. And you can't teach an old girl new tricks. So I'm going to run this through and make myself another little one. But on a side note, have some extra triangles here for my mask, so bright side. The K is wrong too. Thanks, Adrian. Probably if I would have looked at my comments, I would have realized that, right? I've had a few snarky remarkies lately, so let's see. I'm going up, little K. I think it's throwing off my filming game. Not today necessarily, but you know, there's one in every crowd. Let's pull this up. And this. Good. Okay. Okay. Hi, Linda. Hope you're doing well. Okay. Little K. Well, now I can make another card when I'm done, right? It's a 2-for-1. 2 for Tuesday, right? That either goes for beverages, songs, and cards. All right, now, what we're going to do is we're going to take a piece of this Pets, and I kind of want to just eyeball it. We're going to say it like that, and we're going to tape this to the back. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this piece, and I'm going to add a little bit of Fast Fuse. I don't know how far this is going to go. I'm going to take a little bit of my string. Because I kind of want it to have a little bit of a dip, so I don't want it to be too tight. So that's pretty good. And I'm going to put this on here for now, so it kind of holds it in place. Let's see, I think I might need to tighten this just a smidge. All right, so then what I'm going to do, kind of have an idea of where I want it to go, is I'm going to pull the backings off of these. And then I'm going to put the letters so it kind of looks like it's holding it in place. So let's eyeball SP. Oh, because I want them to be close, but I don't want them too close. That makes sense. We'll put our Y over here, which our Y can kind of hold this one almost up a little bit. And if it hangs over a tiny bit, that's not going to be a problem because our card, this is cut to 3 3/4, so it's definitely way smaller. So you don't have to worry about that. So I'll say K, I'll move that over a little bit. I'm going to move this over just a tiny bit. P. I put my triangle die away. Oh, you're so nice. I cleaned my craft room because of that one little piece I couldn't find the other day, but I'm going to tell you what, my craft room actually was already pretty clean. Amazingly. And remember, things in Halloween, even though you know you can't see all of this, they're never really straight, right? Because things kind of go wonky Halloween-y. I'm going to go ahead and put this around the back now. And that way, even if necessary, when they look at the card, they can't necessarily see it up front. They can see the ribbon from the bottom, okay? So now I'm going to actually add some more here. And I'm going to put some up here. And I'm going to see if I can get a little bit, finagle it over. 1. Oops. 2. Okay. All right, so there's my base layer. I'm going to put this up here like that. And then we just kind of figure out where do we want to put our moon. Oh, that would look cute. See, you could even do it in the top. I think this definitely calls for dimensionals too. And since it's colored in, we could use black dimensionals. You could use white dimensionals. I did just get a brand new pack of black ones, so we'll use those. And we're going to kind of see. Do you think it looks better if it'll be up here and it'll be really sticking up? Could stick it down here. I kind of like right or center. So you guys let me know what you think looks better. So I have brand new dimensionals. So I have 2 minis and 2 large. That's how the black comes. Whereas the white dimensionals come either in large or in small. So I'll put these on the side and use them eventually. But I have my large black dimensionals we'll use for the back of this. I'm going to put a couple on here. So, hi Penny. Hey Daphne. Daphne joined my team today, guys. She used her Stampin' Rewards to discount her starter kit, which was pretty awesome. So I'm going to put this here. And we're going to see. You know what I'm going to do? Just for the last part of this, I'm going to sponge the edge. Just sponge the edge of that. I don't want it to be like black, but just give it a little something there. So I feel like the center. Okay, I see a lot of people are saying center. Some people are saying right. I know I also have some people on here who have some Halloween birthdays too. So if you have a Halloween birthday, make sure you send me a message. Send me a private message with your address. I'm going to make sure I send you a card this year. I don't know. I think I'm going to go with the right. I'm sorry, I fibbed. I said I was going to do the top center, but I'm going to go with the right. I don't know if I like this under or on top. Do that there. Okay. So there you go. So you could have, remember, I did omit that black layer. So if you wanted to put, and I'm just going to show you what I mean. You could have also put the black layer underneath, but I kind of figured since we did the feathers in the background, it would just be something a little bit different. So I have my 2 dies. Don't worry, they're getting put right over here where they belong, so I will not lose them. But these dies, have you guys seen these dies? I wasn't going to get them, but I saw a bunch of super cool cards with these. So you have the little banner. So you could die cut this and it'll just pop a little banner. So you could use that here and here if you wanted whatever your paper to show through. It has this little cool triangle pattern. So you could use this as an accent and you could have a little triangle pattern cut out. And then the same, it has a little triangle pattern. Words are hard. I've been talking today a lot at work and woof. So you could cut this out and then you could have like a little triangle pattern in the top. And then again, in case you missed this in the beginning, you have your right angles, your regular triangles, and then your isosceles. So no, these are pennants. Isosceles are one side is bigger than the other two, I think. I can't remember. I'll get good one day. And one other thing you could do, so just to show you, and I'm going to show you this real quick before we wrap up, just because I like always sharing these little extra tips. So say you had a piece of cardstock and I'm just going to grab another piece of purple tape just to show you this part. And then we'll wrap it up. So we have our card there. And what you could do is, you could take, so for example, we'll just say black ink since we already have it, right? And you could take black ink. I'm going to need a little bit more. And once you use this once and you might be like, well, it'll dry eventually. You probably would only want to use a darker ink. I wouldn't necessarily go with pink after you did this. But then you could have this piece. And you could even pick this up again. And granted, you would want to make sure you had your side here, or you could always trim it off. You could put this over here, then we'll move it up some so nothing overlaps. And thankfully I have my easy clean mat, so if I make a mess down there, it's okay. But then you have like a cool pattern that you can make. Put a sentiment, like say if this was a circle, put a sentiment in a whole other card. So I will definitely keep this with my triangles because I think it's really something fun, and I have to wash this out because it's black. But you could put this on like a bright layer. So say if you put like for example, you know me, I'm going on my 80s kick. You could do Magenta Madness in the background, put this. Put a cool sentiment here, die cut it, stamp it on there. Done. Easy. Easy peasy. So sometimes don't forget, don't overlook your scraps because you never know. Those might give you some of the best ideas you could have possibly had. So I want to thank you guys for joining me. I know I didn't give any notice, but hopefully if you follow me on Facebook, you got a notification that I was live so you could watch me make this fun card. I hope you all have been having a wonderful week. I will certainly miss you tomorrow, but I will be meeting my students, so I'm sure you guys will understand. And then I'm going to try to figure out exactly when I can start going live on Saturday if there's a better time. So I'll probably do it live this Saturday, and we'll have to figure out from there because we also do have soccer on Saturday. So it probably will be in the morning, most likely, but I'll let you guys know when. I hope you had a good time today. Thank you all so much for watching. I really, really appreciate it. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you again really soon. Thanks for watching.